Have you ever wondered why some men barely lift a finger, yet women can't get them out of their minds? Why she texts him first, checks his stories again and again, imagines him at night, while other men, good men, loyal men, even handsome men, get ignored, ghosted, or quietly replaced by someone who doesn't even try half as hard? It's not luck. It's not money. It's not looks. It's psychology, because deep down, attraction isn't about what you do. It's about what you trigger. A woman becomes obsessed when a man activates the right emotions. In her mind, curiosity, uncertainty, admiration, and desire. When she can't predict you, she can't control her thoughts about you. When she can't read you, she starts to feel you. And that feeling turns into obsession. These 6 psychological triggers I'm about to reveal are not tricks, they're ancient truths wrapped in Stoic wisdom and modern science. They don't make you manipulative. They make you magnetic. So listen carefully, because once you understand how a woman's heart bonds through emotion, you'll stop chasing love, and love will start chasing you. 1. The power of controlled distance. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly missed someone? It wasn't when they were always there, was it? It was when they suddenly stopped being available. When their silence echoed louder than their words. That's the power of controlled distance, a psychological weapon that turns space into attraction. Most men believe constant closeness keeps a woman interested. They think being always available, always present, always texting back instantly will make her love them more. But here's the truth. Certainty kills attraction. When she knows exactly where you are, what you're doing, and how you'll respond, she stops wondering. And when she stops wondering, she stops feeling. A woman's emotional mind thrives on curiosity. She wants to feel something: excitement, tension, mystery. When you pull back just slightly, you activate her imagination. She starts asking questions in her head. What's he doing right now? Did I say something wrong? Why hasn't he texted? And in that moment, you occupy her thoughts more than any message ever could. Psychologist Dr. Helen Fisher once said that the same brain regions that light up during romantic love also light up during addiction. That's not poetic, it's neurological. Love and uncertainty are chemically linked in the human brain. When you give a woman moments of space and unpredictability, her dopamine levels rise. She feels a mix of longing and excitement. That's exactly how emotional bonds deepen. But let's be clear, controlled distance isn't coldness. It's composure. It's not ghosting or ignoring. It's living with purpose. You have a mission, a passion, a direction. Your time is valuable, your presence rare. When she senses that she's not the center of your world, she wants to be. In London, there was a man named Daniel, quiet, confident, never in a rush. Women noticed him not because he talked too much, but because he didn't. His absence spoke louder than others' presence. He wasn't distant to manipulate. He was just a man who valued his space, and that subtle distance made every woman want to close the gap. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." That's the Stoic form of controlled distance. Now, you give but never overextend. You care but never cling. Because when you pull back with strength, you give her mind room to chase you. Remember, when you stop making her your priority, she starts making you her obsession. Because absence, when used wisely, isn't rejection, it's seduction. 2. Emotional unpredictability. The dopamine effect. Picture this. 2 men are texting the same woman. The first replies instantly. He never disagrees, never challenges, always compliments. The second, he's unpredictable. Sometimes he texts back immediately, sometimes hours later. Sometimes he's playful, sometimes calm. Sometimes he disappears for a day because he's busy living life. Guess which man lives rent-free in her head? It's the second one, every time. Not because he's better, but because he's less predictable. You see, the female brain, like every human brain, is wired for survival through pattern recognition. When there's no pattern, the mind gets hooked. That's the dopamine effect, the neurotransmitter of desire, curiosity, and reward. When your behavior becomes slightly unpredictable, her brain starts associating you with emotional highs and lows. Every time your name appears on her phone, she feels a rush. Not because of what you said, but because of the anticipation of what you might say. That's what makes women obsessed. Not consistency in attention, but consistency in emotional depth. You don't need to play games or manipulate. You just need to live freely, authentically, and not let her predict your every move. In New York, I once met a man named James, a musician who lived like a storm. Sometimes he was charming and talkative, sometimes withdrawn and silent. Women around him said he was hard to read, but they couldn't stop thinking about him. His unpredictability didn't come from drama. It came from purpose. He wasn't trying to keep anyone guessing. He just didn't orbit anyone's emotions. That's what Stoic unpredictability means. You're calm but never robotic. You're present but not predictable. You express yourself when you choose to, not when you need to. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." So when she tests you with silence, emotion, or jealousy, you don't react. You remain centered, grounded, stoic. And ironically, that emotional control is what drives her crazy. Because while other men dance to her moods, you dance to your own rhythm. Understand this. When she doesn't know exactly how you feel, she feels more. When she doesn't know if you'll reply, she hopes you will. And when she can't read your emotions, she reads your value. Unpredictability keeps her dopamine spiking, and that's how obsession begins. 3. The magnetic calm. Stoic masculine energy. There's something powerful about a man who remains calm when everyone else loses control. A man who doesn't argue, doesn't panic, doesn't overreact, just observes, listens, and speaks with quiet confidence. That's the kind of energy that drives women wild. Not the loudest man in the room, but the calmest. Imagine this, she's emotional. She's testing your patience. She's saying things just to see how you'll respond. Every man she's known before either argues, defends, or pleads. But you don't flinch. You breathe, you listen, and you smile slightly. Not because you're amused, but because you're in control. That's Stoic masculine energy, and it's magnetic beyond words. You see, a woman's emotions are like waves. They rise, fall, crash, and calm again. Most men try to surf the waves, but a real man becomes the ocean itself, still, deep, and unshaken. She doesn't fall for you because you're dramatic or expressive. She falls for you because your presence feels like peace. In Toronto, a therapist once said, "Women fall in love with men who make them feel safe in their chaos." That's the secret. Your calm doesn't suppress her emotions. It gives her the freedom to feel them without judgment. You become her grounding point, the emotional anchor in a world full of storms. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That strength and that self-control is rare in modern men. And rarity breeds attraction. When she cries, you don't rush to fix her. When she's angry, you don't raise your voice. When she's distant, you don't chase. Because you understand your peace is not up for negotiation. That calm, that steady energy, whispers something primal into her subconscious. This man can handle life. This man can handle me. And that's when obsession takes root, not out of fear or confusion, but out of deep emotional safety. A Stoic man doesn't chase validation. He creates gravity. And once a woman feels that calm power, she doesn't forget it. Because peace is addictive and you've just become her favorite addiction. First, the law of scarcity. Value through selective availability. Let me tell you something brutally honest. People don't value what's easy to access. They value what's rare. And in the world of relationships, the rarest thing isn't money, looks, or even attention. It's selective availability. Most men destroy attraction without realizing it. They reply instantly, cancel their plans for her, and treat every message like it's a command. They think being available equals love, but in reality it equals predictability, and predictability kills mystery. Here's the harsh truth when you're always there. She subconsciously assumes you have nothing else going on. And when your time seems endless, your value seems worthless. Because value in human psychology is tied to scarcity. Diamonds aren't rare because they're beautiful. They're beautiful because they're rare. The same law applies to your attention. When you start valuing your own energy, your time becomes a currency she must earn, not something you hand out freely. That's when she starts chasing your presence instead of taking it for granted. In a University of Virginia study, researchers found that people value relationships more when they're uncertain about how much the other person likes them. That uncertainty activates deep emotional processing in the brain. It keeps them hooked. It's the same principle casinos use to keep gamblers addicted. Variable reward. The not knowing becomes the thrill. That's why selective availability is so powerful. It doesn't mean you play games. It means you have priorities. You're not ignoring her. You're busy living. Your attention isn't cheap. It's sacred. Imagine this, a man in Sydney wakes up early, goes to the gym, works on his business, and has a vision for his life. When a woman texts him, he doesn't drop everything. He replies when he's free, because his time is already filled with purpose. She senses that, and it changes how she feels about him. His attention now means something. It's not available to everyone, and that's exactly why it's valuable. Seneca once wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." When you give your energy to everyone and everything, it loses weight. But when you're selective, intentional, and focused, your presence becomes magnetic. Every time she earns your time, it feels like a reward. Every time you're gone, she misses it. And every time you return, she feels that spark again because she knows she doesn't control it. So remember, never let your attention become common. Never make your availability predictable. Be kind but rare, present but busy, warm but not desperate. Because the truth is, people don't value what they always have. They value what they could lose. And when she realizes your time is limited, she'll compete for it. Because scarcity doesn't just create desire, it creates devotion. Fourth, the mirror principle. Reflecting desire, not giving it away. Here's one of the most powerful psychological secrets in attraction. A woman doesn't actually fall in love with you. She falls in love with how she feels when she's around you. When she feels beautiful, desired, and alive in your presence, her mind attaches that emotion to you. You become the mirror through which she experiences her best self. That's the mirror principle, and most men get it wrong. They try to give validation instead of reflecting it. When a woman meets a man who constantly compliments her, praises her, and tells her everything she wants to hear, she feels flattered but not fascinated. Because flattery without tension feels hollow. It feels cheap. But when you become a mirror, calm, confident, and observant, you allow her to project her own feelings of desire, beauty, and intrigue onto you. You reflect her emotions instead of feeding them. Here's how it works. If she's playful, you mirror her playfulness, and not with overexcitement, but with control. If she's emotional, you reflect empathy, not pity. If she's seductive, you stay composed, letting her energy bounce off you like sunlight off a mirror. It's psychological judo. You don't push, you redirect. And in that redirection, she starts seeing herself differently. She starts associating you with her most powerful emotions. A dating psychologist in Los Angeles once said, "The most attractive men don't make women feel loved. They make women feel seen." That's exactly what the mirror principle is about. You let her feel seen, not through constant validation, but through emotional resonance. For example, instead of saying, "You're so beautiful," you could say, "There's something about your confidence that stands out." Instead of, "You're perfect," say, "I like that you're a little unpredictable. Most people aren't." Notice what's happening here. You're not worshiping her. You're recognizing her. You're giving her a mirror to see her best traits reflected back. Through your calm, masculine lens, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within." Within is the fountain of good. When you help a woman look within to see her light, her charm, her uniqueness, she begins to crave your presence. Because with you, she feels alive. And here's the twist. When you reflect her energy without over-investing, she starts chasing your reflection of her. She wants to feel that version of herself again. That's why she replays your conversations, stares at your texts, and smiles at your silence. You've become the man who holds her emotional mirror, and that's something she can't forget. So stop trying to impress. Stop over-explaining or over-validating. Be still, be aware, and let her energy reveal itself. Because when you stop trying to make her feel something, she'll start feeling everything. 6. The power of walking away, the ultimate psychological trigger. Now we reach the most difficult and most powerful principle of all. Walking away. Every man can chase. Every man can talk. But few men can walk away with peace. And yet nothing drives deeper psychological obsession in a woman than a man who is willing to walk away without anger, bitterness, or ego. Because walking away communicates something that words can never express. Emotional freedom. It silently says, "I choose you, but I don't need you." And that right there is the essence of masculine power. You see, emotional freedom is the highest form of control, not over others, but over yourself. It's the calmness in your soul when everyone expects you to react. It's the ability to let go, not because you stopped caring, but because you refuse to lose your dignity trying to hold on to what isn't yours anymore. Most men can't do this. They chase, they plead, They negotiate their self-respect in the name of love. And every time they do, they weaken their masculine core. But the man who can walk away, he rewires the power dynamic completely. When you can leave with grace, when you can detach with quiet strength, her subconscious can't handle it. She's used to men collapsing under pressure, flooding her phone with messages, begging for one more chance. But when you're calm, when you disappear without drama, it shakes her. Because emotional silence is louder than any words. A psychologist once explained this perfectly. When someone walks away without emotional breakdown, it creates cognitive dissonance. The other person's mind can't make sense of it. They expected you to chase, you didn't. They expected you to fight, you stayed calm. Now they crave closure, and the only way to get it is to keep thinking about you. That's why walking away becomes a psychological trigger. It disrupts the pattern of expectation. You become the unanswered question in her mind, the mystery she keeps replaying. It's not manipulation. It's mastery. It's understanding that you never win someone by needing them more than yourself. Seneca once said, "He who needs nothing possesses everything." When you stop chasing validation, you gain peace, and in peace is power. When you're ready to walk away, you stop losing people. Because walking away from disrespect raises your value instantly. It says, "My peace is non-negotiable." Your silence becomes your statement. Your absence becomes your message. Your detachment becomes your dominance. Don't beg, don't chase, don't explain. Simply walk away in peace, not anger. Because peace drives curiosity, and curiosity fuels obsession. The man who walks away isn't cold, he's centered. He knows that love without self-respect isn't love, it's dependency. When she realizes you were never trying to control her, only mastering yourself, her entire perception shifts. That's when respect turns into obsession. Because when a woman respects you, she can't replace you. She can find better-looking men or richer men, but she can't find your peace. Your calm presence becomes unforgettable. Men think walking away means losing her. In truth, it's how you gain yourself, and how she finally sees your value. Because true power isn't in controlling others. It's in controlling your reaction to them. Walking away isn't weakness. It's emotional dominance. It's self-control disguised as stillness. A quiet declaration that says, "I have everything I need, including the strength to let you go." Conclusion. Attraction isn't built on tricks or manipulation. It's built on understanding human nature, hers and yours. When you master controlled distance, she craves your presence. Emotional unpredictability. She stays addicted to your mystery. Stoic calm, she feels safe in her chaos. Selective availability. Your attention becomes valuable. The mirror principle. She falls for her best self through you. The power of walking away, she realizes she can lose you. And that fear becomes obsession. That's not manipulation, that's mastery. Because a stoic man doesn't chase control or demand. He inspires emotion through stillness. He attracts through peace. He keeps her guessing through purpose. So next time you meet a woman, don't try to impress her. Let her feel your strength through silence, your mystery through purpose, and your value through scarcity. Because when a man becomes the calm within her storm, she doesn't just fall for him, she can't escape him. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.